Sorkar TV. Ka undi basnyam bat penjasliang. Rupa Premium Meghalaya.
Kakun Menteri Sorkar kebelasyon jingalang mentagasngi kakandai tuk unop ra arajar pusan krasymi karai bentung kampurano yaki arspa puwengut kinas haringkat kiwepat ki paramedics ki baga Sorkar kelai appointment kata tang kitu ki ba nadu usnam arajar pra hadu arajar khadar umindrang ba ka jelau kontrak ki sangma ulai thu bikidan baro arspa puwengut kinas ki baga Sorkar kelai appointment hagatu kapor ba mentang rasyimnya karai bentung kampurano yaki Hagan iga jingalang kakinun mitri klamin joru yaga migilaya pharmacist service rule yaga migilaya mental health care rules but yaga jingpin bet thamai haga migilaya judicial service rule arajar nrio but yaga migilaya higher judicial service rule arajar khatsan
regarding the bonded nurses from the period of 2008 to 2012 who were earlier appointed, and there are about 221 of them, and also there were the paramedic staff along with them, which again were bonded between the period of 2008 and 2012. And today in the cabinet we discussed in detail. As you remember, last time we had made the decision that all appointments are made post 2007, which were not in the procedures and were ad hoc in nature, will be then advertised, and recruitment will take place for that. So in that process, the bonded nurses also were included in that particular list. But after detailed discussion with the health department, and also based on different conversations with the bonded nurses and going through all the documentation, we have decided as a cabinet today that the appointments were made during that period and procedures were followed, and hence the cabinet today decided that the bonded nurses and the bonded paramedics who were appointed between 2008 to 2012, we have decided to confirm those appointments that were made and recognize them, and so basically the recruitment for those posts will not be done, as we have already approved and as I said, recognized the appointments that were made during that particular period, purely for, as I said, the bonded nurses and the bonded paramedics. So it's like this, that when we took the decision in 2000 for the 2007 and before, it was based on a Supreme Court ruling. Now, just for the knowledge of everybody, ad hoc employees are employees who are appointed against sanctioned post, but the normal recruitment process was not followed and they were simply appointed. That is the definition of ad hoc employees. Now, at that point in time, the decision in front of us was, what do we do with ad hoc employees post 2008? And hence, it's not just healthcare, but we were looking at all the departments put together. And therefore, at that point in time, for us to take a decision department-wise was very, very difficult, because there are many, many departments, many, many different categories, and many different procedures being followed by different individuals. And hence, we took a blanket decision in order to ensure that there is no situation where there is any kind of discrepancy, or anybody comes up and says why them and why not us. And therefore, we took a blanket decision and we decided that post 2007, whoever were appointed on an ad hoc basis will be the recruitment process, or those posts will be advertised. Because, as I said, because they're ad hoc, and again I'm repeating, ad hoc means sanctioned post, but appointments being made without recruitment process being followed. And hence we had to technically those posts show as vacant posts right now if we were to search them. And therefore now we have to find a way to regularize that. When we then went deeper into the system, we realized that the bonded nurses, the selection process, even when they went for the education, the selection process was done. And based on that, a bond was signed. And based on that, appointments were given. So therefore, it's a very different category compared to simple appointment where an ad hoc appointment is done, where there is no process at all that's followed. And hence, when we saw that part of the bond being there, and the fact that there was a legal kind of a binding agreement that was put, and which was again abolished by at 2013. So up to 2012, these bonds were there, and therefore we took a conscious decision that since these were bonds, appointments were made, we will recognize those appointments and we will allow them to continue to work. The rules were framed for the Meghalaya pharmacist rules, service rules. We did not have service rules for the Meghalaya pharmacist, so those service rules were approved today by the cabinet. Also, there was the adoption of the Meghalaya mental health care rules. Again, these are very important. So we have different institutions that are dealing with healthcare, rehabilitation, and other mental health care activities. And as a state, we did not have rules to operate or to govern, or no policies were in place. So today we have passed those rules, and we're calling it the Meghalaya mental health care rules. Then we had a decision also today uh, for the regularization of excess area on government lease lands. As you're aware, there are a large number of lands in and around Shillong which have been leased out many years back, and periodic renewals, takes place every 30 years or so. And in that process, normally the documentations and the files uh, have to come to the government, and therefore it's a very long and tedious process, and it requires a lot of officials to be involved. And hence, we have decided to simplify the procedure. So we have simplified the procedure, and most of the delegation and the power has been given to the deputy commissioner. So the deputy commissioner can take the decisions and do the renewals at a much faster pace without it having to come to the government. So certain decisions were made for to make the entire process easier and smoother. Last decision that was made in the cabinet today was the proposal for the amendment of the Meghalaya Judicial Service Rules 2006 and the Meghalaya Higher Judicial Service Rules 2015. So these have been done as per the recommendations that have come from the judiciary, and these are mostly to do with the conduct of examinations, and what kind of exams, what kind of syllabus, and how the direct recruitments will take place, the percentage of that, and also, as I said, to look at the different procedures of the recruitment. So those were the decisions. Suggestions were given, for example, that knowledge of local language of Khasi or Garo will also be mandatory, and we have accepted that recommendation also. So therefore, all those kind of recommendations were made, and we have approved and accepted those recommendations.